What's up, guys? It's Seth bringing you another video. So now that Haswell has finally been released from Intel, I wanted to give you an overview of exactly what has changed, because a lot of you probably haven't been following Haswell as much as I have, because honestly a lot of you might not be super geeks when it comes to processors and whatnot. But as a consumer, it's good to know what is different from Ivy Bridge and why you should or should not buy Haswell, because the price is slightly, well, quite a bit different. Not terribly, but overall you should know what is going on. So, compared to Ivy Bridge, just kind of the, Spark Note, I can't even talk today, Spark Notes version of what is different is updated graphics, including Intel HD 6000. It allows for 4K playback. Mainly the benefits are from mobile systems, so a lot of the M versions of these processors are what is really different with Haswell. Desktops, they did receive an upgrade, but overall it's for mobile. Just overall, not a whole lot was put into desktops. Not a whole lot of differences are seen with the desktop CPUs. However, there are some. Natively supports higher overclocking without the need for higher end motherboards. So this is a pretty big difference overall, because previously you need a really high end motherboard in order to overclock to, say, 4.3, 4.4 and above, in order to, get those clock speeds, because the power was not coming from the CPU, it was coming from the motherboard. Now this has switched around to where all of those controllers and all that power is pretty much coming from the CPU. So any motherboard you put it onto will pretty much be able to, you still don't want to go to really above 4.5 or 4.6, 4.5 or 4.6 gigahertz with a lower end motherboard, but you can still overclock to, say, 4.2, 4.3 in those lower to mid 4s without any issue, which you couldn't do in the past. It's used in the new LGA 1150 socket, not a big difference from the LGA 1155, just 5 less pins. That's really the only difference overall. Does require new motherboards. However, it uses the same installation procedure as with the LGA 1155, so if you knew how to do it before, you'll know how to do it now. And you can also use the same water or air cooling for the most part. Now, since the socket is pretty much the same size, you'll still be able to fit any of your previous water cooling or your previous air cooling, stuff onto this socket without much of an issue. So that's good. So you do have to go and buy a compliant power supply. Well, not necessarily for that, but you do have to buy a new motherboard without any doubt. But at least you don't have to buy new cooling stuff for the most part. It's running off of Z87 motherboards, which allows for support for 6 USB 3.0 ports. Natively, there were other options from companies like ASUS that allowed for around 6 or more before. But now natively on all motherboards you can reach 6 USB 3.0. All the SATA ports can now support 6 gigabytes per second, whereas only half of them could before. And this is truly, I do want to get this point across, because a lot of people seem to be making the mistake. This is truly only replacing Z77. So this is still the consumer level boards, and they are not really a super big upgrade by any standpoint or anything like that. And it does not replace X79, which is meant for the higher end CPUs that are still reigning supreme above the ones that would be on Z77, simply because there's things like quad channel memory and all this other stuff that is really beneficial if you're in the really high end. So this is not replacing that by any means, but overall it is an improvement, just not a big one. Now, for the offerings, what they're exactly using right now and selling, i5 and i7 for the most part. Well, that's all you can find actually currently. And for the i7, the 4770K, the 4770S, and then the 4770. So the only difference between those, as I mentioned down below, is that the S signifies less power and slightly lower performance. So it does reduce the overall power that is needed, but it does slightly reduce the base clock speed. For the i5s, the 4430, the 4570, the 4570S, the 4670K, and the 4670. So these are starting at the at $190 for the 4430 and then the end at the flagship CPU, the 4770K, at $350. So there is a pretty big wide price gap, but overall, if you think about that, for the flagship i7 CPU that's going to offer the best performance out of Haswell, to only be $350, that's really not too bad if you think about that. That's, say, $120 more than some of the popular CPUs from Ivy Bridge right now. So, overall, it's not too bad when it comes to price. And the performance benefit is still there. It's just not huge. So hopefully Intel, I'm hoping I'll be able to get some of these CPUs in for review on the website, TG Buzz, as well as on the channel here, so we can actually see what the performance benefits truly are from our own tests and not just from other reviews. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be talking to you guys later. Make sure to subscribe and all that great stuff. Like, comment, all that cool stuff. I'll talk to you guys there. Bye.